The dresser comes down the driveway like a corpse on a stretcher, 2 men in grey shirts carrying it toward the truck. I stand there with my duffel still slung over one shoulder, trying to make the math work. The flight got cancelled. Weather in Denver. I drove home instead of waiting in the terminal, and now my bedroom furniture is leaving without me. I walk up fast. "Hey," I say. "Where's that going?" The nearest guy doesn't look up. He's got the dolly tilted, focused on the weight distribution. "Unit 2B, he says. "Unit what?" He glances at me now, uncertain. "Lady inside said," "I'm not a lady," I tell him. "I live here." That stops him. The other guy lowers his end of the dresser. They look at each other, then past me toward the front door. Lena comes out onto the porch. She's in yoga pants and a loose grey tee, hair pulled back, the way she looks on Saturdays when she's deep cleaning. Except we don't own a storage unit, and it's Thursday. "Nate," she says. Not surprised, just my name, flat and careful. "What's going on?" She comes down the steps. Her face is calm, practiced. "I didn't expect you back." "Flight got cancelled." I set the duffel down on the grass. "Why is our bed leaving?" "It's not our bed anymore." She folds her arms. "I'm moving some things into storage while we figure this out." "Figure what out?" She doesn't answer. The movers are standing there like referees at a bad fight, waiting for a call. Then Evan's bike comes around the corner, wheels crunching gravel. He skids to a stop at the end of the driveway, one sneaker dragging. 12 years old, backpack hanging off one shoulder, staring at the truck. "Mom?" He looks from her to me. "Weren't you on vacation?" Lena's jaw tightens. She didn't plan on him being here either. I walk past her into the house. The living room looks normal. The kitchen too. But upstairs, the master bedroom is gutted. Mattress gone, dresser gone, the chair by the window gone. Boxes stacked near the closet, some already taped shut. I check the labels. They're in her handwriting. New address on Maple Grove, across town. Apartment number included. I go back downstairs. Lena is standing in the front hall. Evan is on the porch, uncertain, still holding his bike. "How long?" I ask. "Nate, how long have you been planning this?" She looks at me straight. "A month." "A month." I nod slowly. "And you were going to tell me when?" "When you got back. We were going to sit down and talk." With the furniture already gone, I thought it would be easier. I almost laugh. Almost. Instead, I walk into the kitchen and pour myself water from the tap. My hands are steady. That surprises me. I drink the whole glass, set it down, then turn back to her. "Whose tie?" Her face changes, just a flicker, but I see it. "What?" "Tie. I saw a towel in one of the boxes, monogrammed, not mine." She doesn't answer right away. That tells me enough. I pull out my phone and take a picture of the box labels. Then I walk past her, out to the driveway, and tell the movers to stop. "You can't do that," Lena says from behind me. "Half of it's mine. They're not taking anything until we sort this." One of the movers looks at Lena. She opens her mouth, then closes it. Finally she nods. "Fine, leave it." The men start unloading. I stand there and watch every piece come back off that truck. The dresser, the mattress, boxes, a floor lamp I forgot we owned. When they're done, Lena signs something on a clipboard and they leave. Evan is sitting on the porch steps. I sit down next to him. "You okay?" I ask. He shrugs. "Is Mum leaving?" "I don't know yet." "Are you?" "No." He nods. We sit there for a minute. Then he gets up and goes inside. I hear his bedroom door close upstairs. I stay on the porch. The sun is dropping behind the houses across the street. The miller's sprinkler is on, ticking back and forth. 2 doors down, someone is grilling. The smell of charcoal and lighter fluid drifts over. Lena comes out and stands there, arms crossed. "We need to talk," she says. "Yeah. Tonight. Just us." "Fine." She goes back inside. I hear her on the phone, voice low. I don't follow. Instead, I walk around the side of the house to the detached garage. Inside, my workbench is exactly how I left it. Pegboard wall, labeled bins, hand tools hung in rows. I sit down on the stool and just breathe. My phone buzzes. A text from my brother. "How is Denver?" I don't answer. Instead, I open the banking app. Joint account. I scroll through the recent charges. There's a furniture purchase from 3 days ago. $900. Paid to an LLC I don't recognize. I screenshot it, then I go back into the house. Dinner is silent. The kind of silence that hums, just beneath hearing, heavy and stretched so tight it almost rings in your ears. Evan pushes his pasta around with his fork, little spirals of sauce sliding against the plate. He doesn't look up. He doesn't have to. The air says everything already. Lena doesn't sit down. She just stands by the counter with her arms crossed, one hand gripping the other elbow, like she's trying to keep herself from breaking apart. I eat because I haven't since the airport, and because I need something to do with my hands. The taste doesn't register: garlic, tomato, basil, just texture and motion, something normal in a night that isn't. When Evan finishes, he looks at me, eyes tired but curious, cautious like he's measuring the weather in the room. "Can I go to my room?" he asks. His voice is small but steady. I tell him yes, of course. He slides off the chair, leaves his plate in the sink, something I should probably correct but don't, and goes upstairs. A few seconds later, his door closes. I hear it latch. The sound seems louder than it should. Lena finally sits down across from me. The chair creaks like it's complaining. "Okay," she says after a moment. "Let's do this." Her voice is even, rehearsed maybe, but her foot taps under the table. I can feel the vibration through the floor. I set my fork down, slow. "Who is he?" "Does it matter?" she says without looking at me. "Yeah," I tell her. "It does." My voice surprises me. Flat, not angry, not pleading, just a statement of fact. She stares at me for a long time. Then she says, "His name is Ty. We met at the gym." "Your gym," I say, though I already know the answer. "Yes." "How long?" 2 months. "You said you've been planning to leave for a month." "I have." "So you started seeing him, then decided to leave. Or did you decide to leave, then start seeing him?" I ask. I keep my eyes on hers. Her jaw tightens. It's not that simple. It actually is. She stands up suddenly, the chair legs scraping hard against the floor. "I'm not doing this, not tonight." "Then when?" I ask, still sitting. "Tomorrow, after Evan's at school. We'll sit down and figure out the logistics." Logistics. The word feels wrong in my mouth, like this is a business transaction instead of a life unraveling. Yes, custody, money, the house. I almost laugh, but it catches in my throat. "You've really thought this through." "Someone had to," she says, and her voice cracks just slightly before she turns away. She walks out, and a moment later, I hear her bedroom door close. Not our bedroom, hers now, I guess. I sit there for a long time staring at my plate, the food gone cold and congealed. Then I get up, scrape the rest into the trash, wash the dish, dry it, put it back exactly where it belongs. The kind of routine that used to mean something. I go out to the garage. The smell of oil and sawdust hits me as the motion light flickers on. There's a notebook in one of the drawers, a cheap spiral-bound thing I used for measurements when I thought I'd build a deck out back. That was before the leaks in the roof, before the overtime, before the distance. I flip past the old notes, numbers, sketches, and find a clean page. I start writing. Timeline, I title it. Then, who knew, what's missing, what she said versus what the bank shows. I write until my hand cramps, until the pen digs into the paper. When I stop, it's quiet again, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator inside. I pull out my phone. There's a notification from the doorbell camera. I open the app, scroll back through the last few days, watching the motion clips like a detective who's already half sure of the ending. Tuesday night, 11:47 p.m. A car pulls up. Headlights wash over the driveway, pause, then shut off. A man gets out. Tall, fitted jacket, confident walk. He goes to the side door. It opens before he even knocks. He's inside for 6 minutes. Then he leaves. 6 minutes. Enough time for what, I wonder? Enough to be sure of something anyway. I screenshot the timestamp and the license plate. Then I check the HOA forum, the neighborhood app where people complain about uncut lawns and porch pirates and raccoons knocking over bins. I scroll back a week. Someone posted about a loud car revving on our street at night. Another person replied with a photo. Silver coupe, same plate. I save the thread. Evidence. Or maybe just confirmation. My phone buzzes. A text from Lena. I'm going to stay at a friend's tomorrow night. Give us space. I stare at it for a while, thumb hovering. Then I lock the screen. I don't reply. Instead, I open the laptop, search the LLC name from the furniture charge on our joint card. It comes up immediately, registered to a Ty Brennan. Real estate, house flipping. I dig deeper. 4 properties currently listed, all under renovation. One of them 2 streets over, on Hollow Ridge Lane. I write it all down. Addresses, permit numbers, dates. Then I just sit there in the quiet and let it settle. The anger's there, but it's not the hot burning kind. It's cold, controlled. I remember the years I spent boxing in my 20s, back when I thought maybe I'd go somewhere with it. I learned how to take a punch, how to breathe through it, how to wait for the opening. This is that. The next morning, Evan asks if Mom is coming back. He's eating cereal, legs swinging under the chair. I tell him she's staying somewhere else for a bit while we work things out. He looks at me for a second, like he wants to ask something else, then just nods. I make him eggs too, because I don't like how thin he looks, and pack his lunch with the usual apple slices and peanut butter crackers. We walk to the bus stop. The Millers are out with their dog. They wave. I wave back, smile like nothing's wrong. It's almost automatic. When I get home, Lena's car is gone. I check the bedroom, our bedroom. She took more clothes. Half the hangers are empty. The space looks hollow, like a stage after the show's over. The bathroom drawers are open, toothpaste cap missing, perfume gone. The wedding album's missing from the closet shelf. That one hits harder than I expect. In the kitchen, the iPad's on the counter. We used it for recipes, grocery lists, Evan's homework. She forgot to log out. I shouldn't, but I do. I open messages. There's a group chat from last week. Her, someone named Sasha, and a third number I don't recognize. My pulse slows, then quickens. Lena. He's gone till Friday. We can move everything Thursday. Sasha. You sure? Lena. Flight's booked. I checked. Third number. I'll have the truck there at 4. I take screenshots. All of them. Then I log out, clear the history, put the iPad back exactly as it was. It feels methodical, detached, like cataloguing evidence. I drive to the gym where Lena works. It's one of those boutique places with exposed brick and mirrors that make everyone look a little more defined than they are. Trendy lighting, soft music, eucalyptus towels stacked neatly in wicker baskets by the entrance. I park across the street, engine off, window cracked. Watch. An hour later, she comes out with another woman. Blonde, athletic build, maybe late 20s. They stand by Lena's car talking, laughing too easily. Then the blonde gets into a white sedan and drives off. Lena checks her phone, pockets it, and goes back inside. I don't follow. Instead, I drive to Hollow Ridge Lane. The house there looks half-finished, new siding, dumpster out front, a ladder leaning against the porch. The front door's propped open with a paint bucket. Inside, a radio plays classic rock, low but steady. I walk in like I belong, nod at the man working in the living room, measuring a window frame. He glances up. Help you? He asks. Looking for Ty, I say, trying to sound casual. He's not here. Back tomorrow. I'll catch him then. I nod, turn as if to leave, then wander just a little. The place smells like sawdust and primer. There's a card table in what used to be the dining room. Blueprints spread out. Coffee cup rings staining the edges. Permits stacked in a tray. One of them has a red sticker. Failed inspection, electrical. I glance, memorize the number, snap a photo when the man's not looking. Then I head out, slow, deliberate. Back home, I pull up the county code enforcement site. The permit is public record. I find it easily. The inspection notes say there are open violations that must be resolved before final walkthrough. I jot down the inspector's name, file it with everything else. Patterns, timelines, pieces. It's starting to form something like a shape. My phone buzzes again. Lena. Can we talk tonight? I'll come by after Evan's in bed. I stare at it, then type back one word. Okay. The rest of the afternoon I spend in the garage, rearranging tools I've already organized, wiping down surfaces that don't need cleaning. It keeps my hands busy, my thoughts quieter. The hammer feels good in my hand, heavy, familiar. I put it down before that thought can go somewhere I don't want it to. At 6, I make dinner for Evan. Chicken, rice, something simple. We eat in front of the TV, watching a cartoon he's technically too old for but still loves. I don't stop him. After, I tell him to brush his teeth and get ready for bed. He does, obedient like always. I read to him for 20 minutes, same book we've been working through all month. He falls asleep before I finish the chapter, breathing even and soft. Downstairs, the house feels empty again. The hum of the refrigerator, the ticking clock, the wind brushing against the siding. At 9, Lena's car pulls into the driveway. Headlights sweep across the wall, then vanish. She comes in through the side door, quiet, careful. She's changed clothes since this morning, jeans, dark sweater, a touch of makeup. Her hair's different too, smoother, deliberate. I don't comment. We sit at the kitchen table, the same table where everything started to crack. I've got the notebook open in front of me, pen ready. Okay, I say, let's figure this out. I think we should start with Evan, she says, folding her hands. I want primary custody. Based on what? I ask. Based on the fact that I'm his mother. That's not a reason. Her face tightens. Nate, don't make this harder than it needs to be. I'm not making anything hard. I'm asking a question. She leans back in her chair, crosses her arms. Fine. I'll have my lawyer call yours. I don't have a lawyer yet. Then get one. I write that down in the notebook. What about the house? I'm not interested in keeping it. We can sell, split it. Fair, I say. I'll need access to the joint account until we divide things. You already used it to buy furniture, I say, watching her reaction. For him. Her expression doesn't change. I don't know what you're talking about. I slide my phone across the table. The screenshot open, $900 to Ty Brennan's LLC. 3 days ago, I say. She stares at it, lips pressed together, then pushes the phone back. That was a mistake. Was it? I'll transfer it back. When? Tomorrow. I nod and write that down too. The scratching of the pen fills the space between us. Anything else? She asks after a moment, her tone clipped, defensive. Yeah, I say. When did it actually start? I told you, 2 months. The group chat on the iPad says you planned this move 3 weeks ago, I reply, which means you were already seeing him then. But 2 months ago was June. That's summer. You were posting gym selfies in June with a hotel art print in the background. I checked. Same print that's in the Marriott on Route 9. I know because I stayed there last year for a work thing. Her face goes pale. Her mouth opens, then closes. She looks down. So, I say quietly. When did it actually start? She stands up, pushes the chair back hard. I'm not doing this. That's fine, I say, still calm. We can do it in front of a mediator. She stares at me then, furious, shaking slightly. What do you want, Nate? The truth. You want the truth? She snaps. Fine, yes, it started earlier. We drifted. You were gone all the time, working nights, weekends. I got tired of being alone. I worked overtime so we could fix the roof, I say, and pay for Evan's orthodontist, and take that trip you wanted to Maine. And I'm supposed to be grateful, she says, voice rising. No, but you're also not supposed to lie about it. She grabs her bag from the chair. I'm done. My lawyer will call you. Lena, I say as she turns to leave. She stops at the door, doesn't look back. Don't take anything else from this house without asking. She leaves. The door shuts softly, but the sound echoes through the whole house. I sit there for a long time. The clock ticks. The refrigerator hums. Outside, a car passes, its headlights slicing through the blinds. I check the doorbell cam again. She sat in her car for 4 minutes before driving away. On her phone the whole time. Probably him. Maybe making plans. Maybe just venting. Either way, it doesn't matter. I go upstairs, pause by Evan's room. He's still asleep, curled up under the blanket he's had since kindergarten. I stand there for a while, watching him breathe, then go to my room. The sheets smell faintly like her still, that mix of lavender shampoo and something sharper underneath. I lie down, but don't close my eyes. The ceiling fan turns slow circles above me, the same steady rhythm I used to find comforting. Now it just feels like time passing. I think about the deck that never got built, the roof that did, the trips we didn't take, the moments that slipped through the cracks while we were busy paying for them. I think about the man at the renovation site, the failed inspection, the red sticker. I think about Ty Brennan's name printed neatly on all those documents, the confident walk to my side door, the 6 minutes inside my house. At some point, the anger settles again. Not gone, just reshaped. Cold, quiet, waiting. I know the rhythm of this kind of fight. You don't throw the first punch. You wait, you gather. You make sure the next one lands where it counts. And then, finally, I let the dark swallow the rest of the night. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. The next morning, I call in sick to work. My voice sounds strange to my own ears. Steady enough, but with that edge people hear when something's wrong. I say I've got a stomach thing, maybe food poisoning. My supervisor, Ken, doesn't ask questions. He never does. We've worked together for years at the water treatment plant, and in all that time, I've barely used my sick days. The guys there know I'm dependable. The one who answers his phone at 2 a.m. when a pump alarm goes off. Who drives out in the rain to reset a control board. So when I say I need a day, they give me space. Ken just says, "Take care of yourself, Nate," and hangs up. I stare at the phone for a few seconds after that, the silence on the line, replaced by the low hum of the fridge and the faint creak of the house settling. I make coffee, drink half of it, pour the rest down the sink. It tastes like metal. I can't sit still, so I grab my jacket and keys and drive. The roads are half empty, the kind of weekday morning traffic where you can see everyone's life through the windshield, parents dropping kids off, contractors hauling ladders, retirees heading to breakfast. I drive past all of it, past the places that still feel familiar, even though they don't mean anything now. The bank where we opened our first joint account. The diner where we used to stop after hikes. Each one of them like a ghost I didn't ask to see. The county clerk's office sits behind the courthouse, a squat brick building that smells like paper and disinfectant. I walk in, sign the log, and wait while a woman in a navy sweater finishes a call. She waves me over when she's done. "Property records?" she asks. I nod. She hands me a form. I fill it out, sliding it back with neat block letters. My name, Lena's, our address. She disappears into the back, the sound of drawers and filing cabinets echoing faintly. I stand there under the flickering fluorescent lights, staring at the corkboard announcements, estate sales, dog licenses, lost deed notices. 5 minutes later, she returns with a folder and sets it on the counter. The house, ours, is listed in both our names. Bought 6 years ago, mortgage through First County Bank. Nothing surprising there. But when I flip through the packet, another property jumps out, listed under my name alone. The Lake House, my father's place. I inherited it when he passed, 2 years before Lena and I got married. I'd nearly forgotten it existed. We went there once, early in our marriage, when the grief was still fresh and I thought maybe being there would help. It didn't. The roof leaked, the dock sagged, and the air smelled like damp pine and dust. After that, I told myself I'd get around to fixing it, but I never did. Work got busy. Life got heavier. The place just faded into a corner of memory. I checked the recent activity on the record. No sale filings, no liens, no maintenance permits filed by me. It should be quiet. But there's a note, small but sharp, like a splinter under the skin. A photographer's permit, approved 3 weeks ago, for exterior and interior shots, requested by Ty Brennan LLC. My hand tightens on the folder. I ask the clerk to print me a copy of the permit. She gives me a look, that half-curious glance people get when they sense a story, but know better than to ask. I pay the fee, take the papers, and leave. Outside, the sky is low and grey, the kind of morning that could go either way, rain or sun. I drive west, the road narrowing from 4 lanes to 2, then winding into forest. Pine trees rise on both sides, tall and patient. The air changes here, colder, sharper, full of sap and wet leaves. The further I go, the less cell service I have. It's like stepping out of the present into some slower, older world. The gravel crunches under the tires when I turn onto the old drive. The weeds have taken over most of it, but there are fresh tracks, thin parallel lines where someone's been through recently. I park by the mailbox, the one with my dad's faded name still barely legible, and walk up. The key from my ring fits, but the door's unlocked. That's the first thing that feels wrong, deeply wrong. I push it open and step inside. It doesn't smell like the lake house anymore. It smells like lemon cleaner and new paint. The place is staged, perfect, fake, like a model home. There's new furniture where my dad's recliner used to be. Throw pillows arranged in patterns on the couch. A bowl of fake fruit on the counter, the stickers still on the apples. The floors shine. The walls are painted a neutral grey. The old fishing calendar that hung by the door is gone. My father's tackle box, the one with his initials carved into the lid, is missing too. So is the driftwood lamp he built the summer before he got sick. I move through the room slowly, like walking through a dream I half remember. Every detail is almost right, but wrong enough to make my stomach turn. On the bookshelf by the door, there's a guest book. We kept it for visitors, though there hadn't been many. I open it. The last entry in my father's handwriting is from years ago. Sunset's good tonight. Might be rain tomorrow. The page after that, new ink, Lena's handwriting, neat, careful. Beautiful property. Can't wait to see it listed. The date, 5 weeks ago. I take photos of everything. Every staged corner, every unfamiliar item. Then I head outside. The grass has been trimmed, the path cleared. The shed out back stands open, the door hanging on one hinge. Inside, it's nearly empty. The lawnmower's gone. The spare dock boards I'd stacked last summer are missing. I walk down to the dock. The boards are new, smooth, freshly stained. Someone fixed it. Someone cared enough to make it look good. That's when I hear it, the high-pitched whir of a motor. I look up. A drone hovers near the tree line, camera pointed straight at the house. I wave once, step forward. The drone shifts, pulling back, higher. I walk faster. It rises again. I go to my truck, Open the back, grab a tire iron. I don't throw it. I just hold it up, clear and visible. The drone hesitates, then dips sharply, veering down toward the reeds by the water. It lands hard, skidding in the mud. I walk over, kneel, and pop the battery loose. The SD card is still inside. I slip it into my pocket. A car engine approaches, gravel crunching. I straighten. A silver sedan pulls into the driveway. A man gets out, mid-20s, camera bag over his shoulder. His shirt's tucked in too neatly for a contractor. He spots me, freezes for a second, then squares his shoulders. "Hey," he calls. "That's mine." "Yeah?" I say. "This is my property." He hesitates. "I have a permit." "From who?" "Ty Brennan." I take a step forward. "Ty doesn't own this," I say. "I do." He blinks, processes that, takes half a step back. "Look, man, I was just hired to shoot the place. I didn't know—" "You can have the drone back," I tell him, "but I'm keeping the card." "That's my work." "Then bill Ty for it." I walk to his car, set the drone on the hood, deliberate, not rough. He watches me, jaw tight. "You breaking it doesn't make you right," he mutters, too low for it to matter. Then he gets in, slams the door, and peels out down the drive. The silence after he's gone feels thick. I stand there for a moment, the lake flat and still behind me, the air heavy with pine and humidity. Then I go back inside, sit down on the new couch that doesn't belong, and pull out the SD card. I have a small adapter in my glove box, a habit from work for logging pump videos. I plug the card into my phone. The files load, dozens of photos, perfectly framed shots of the exterior, the dock, the kitchen. But there's also a video file. Longer. I open it. The first few seconds are shaky footage of the living room. Then the camera steadies. Voices. 3 of them. Lena. "We can list it for $350, easy. It's waterfront." Sasha. "Does Nate know?" Lena laughs short. "It's my property too. We'll split it in the divorce." Ty's voice smooth, confident. "Just get him to sign. Once it's sold, you're clear." I don't breathe for a few seconds. Then I hit replay, watch again, listening to every word, every tone, every inflection, the certainty in Ty's voice. The casual way Lena says my name, like I'm a line item on a spreadsheet. I save the video, back it up to the cloud, and email it to myself under a subject line that won't draw attention. Water system inspection. Then I pocket the phone and leave. The drive back feels longer. The sun's lower now, a faint orange glow behind the trees. My hands stay tight on the wheel. I replay everything in my head. The records, the photos, the drone, the voices. Each piece clicks into place, like teeth on a gear. By the time I hit the highway, the shape of the situation is clear. They weren't just having an affair. They were building something together, using me, my assets, my trust, as the foundation, a life assembled out of lies and property lines. When I pull into the driveway, the neighborhood looks the same. Kids on bikes, someone mowing their lawn, the smell of barbecue 2 houses down. Normal life, steady and unbroken, like it's mocking me. Inside, Evan's at the kitchen table doing homework, pencil tapping against the paper. I stand in the doorway for a moment, just watching him. He looks up. "Hey, Dad." "Hey, bud," I say. "How was school?" He shrugs. "Okay, we had a fire drill." "That so?" I open the fridge, pull out some cheese and crackers, make him a plate. He eats, distracted, one hand still scribbling answers. When he's done, I sit across from him. "I need you to pack a bag," I tell him. He looks up, frowning. "Why?" "Because you're staying at Uncle Tom's for the weekend." He hesitates. "Is Mum coming back?" "I don't know yet," I say honestly. He studies me for a moment, like he's deciding whether that's a good enough answer. Then he nods. "Okay." He goes upstairs. I listen to his footsteps fade, the small sounds of drawers opening, the zipper of a backpack. I drive him over after dinner. Tom lives 15 minutes away, out near the highway. He's out front when we pull up, holding a beer, wearing his old college sweatshirt. Evan jumps out first. Tom gives me a look, that older brother mix of concern and silent judgment. "Everything all right?" he asks. "It will be," I say. The words sound hollow even to me. "You sure?" I nod. "Just need to handle a few things." He doesn't push it. He takes Evan's bag, ruffles his hair, tells him they'll watch a movie later. I thank him, get back in the truck and drive away. In the rearview mirror, Evan's waving. I lift a hand back, but I don't turn around. Halfway home, I stop at the hardware store off Route 9. The guy at the counter doesn't look up when I walk in. I grab a few things without thinking too hard about why. A valve stem tool, a small bottle of white paint marker, a pack of zip ties, and a box of thumbtacks. All legal. All ordinary. I pay cash. The receipt feels heavier than it should in my pocket. At home, I park in the garage and sit there with the door closed. The air smells faintly of oil and dust. I spread the items on the workbench, line them up like pieces on a board. I think about the drone footage, the audio, the house staging without my consent, the money trail. None of it alone would hold up in court, not yet. But together, it's a pattern, a story, proof of intent maybe. Enough to start something, or to end it. I don't want court, though. Court is slow, public, messy. Court turns pain into paperwork. I want something cleaner. I want him gone. I want her to understand what it costs to lie. I check the HOA forum on my phone again. There's a new post pinned at the top. Neighborhood fair, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Food trucks, local vendors, tables for small businesses. I click RSVP. That'll bring people out. Maybe even him, if he's trying to look involved in the community for his next listing. It's the kind of event someone like Ty would show up to with a smile and a handshake. Then I check his business page. Open house, Sunday 1 to 4 p.m. Hollow Ridge Lane. I write it down, along with the permit number, the inspection flag, the code violations. 2 days. That's all the time I have to decide what to do. Before I sleep, I make one last call to the City Code Enforcement Office. A woman answers, polite but tired. I tell her I have concerns about an active renovation on Hollow Ridge Lane. I give her the permit number, say I think the work's being done without resolving the electrical violations. She thanks me, says someone will follow up within 48 hours. I hang up. My phone buzzes almost immediately after. "Lena, where's Evan?" The text reads. I reply, "Safe." She calls. I let it ring. Then another text. "You can't just take him." I type back, "He's at my brother's. For the weekend. You're welcome to visit." She doesn't respond. I set the phone down and just sit there, staring at the faint reflection of my face in the dark window. I look calm, but I don't feel it. The stillness is deceptive. Beneath it, something's shifting, something patient and precise. After a while, I pull out a folding table from the storage rack. I set it up in the garage, under the fluorescent light. I take out a poster board, printouts from public records, copies of Ty's business license, HOA violation notices, MLS listings for his properties. I spread them out like evidence in a crime show, but I don't write his name anywhere. I just arrange the date by address, property, inspection date, violation, repair cost, and owner of record. I highlight what matters: paperwork, numbers, facts, things that can't be argued away. When I'm done, I step back and look at it. The board looks almost professional, sterile, but underneath the neat columns and highlighted lines, there's something pulsing, intention, a message forming. Not to the neighborhood, not even to Ty, to her, to Lena. She thought she could turn my life into an asset sheet, reallocate the parts she wanted, and walk away clean. She thought I'd just fold quietly, pay the fees, sign the papers, let it all dissolve. But she's wrong. She's forgotten who I am, what kind of patience it takes to rebuild pumps in the middle of the night, to troubleshoot systems no one else understands, to take a hit and wait for the next opening. I clean the workbench, line up my tools, check the locks on the garage door. Then I turn off the light. The dark feels heavier now, but not empty. There's a plan taking shape in it, quiet and deliberate. Tomorrow I'll see what the fair brings, and on Sunday I'll go to Hollow Ridge Lane. I'll stand in that open house and look him in the eye, and by then I'll know exactly what to do. Saturday morning, I load the table into my truck and drive to the fair. I set up near the entrance, between a bake sale and a booth selling homemade dog treats. My poster board says, Home Safety and Code Compliance. What to know before you buy. I've got pamphlets printed with basic information, all sourced from public sites. People stop. I talk about inspections, permits, timelines. I show examples. One of them is the Hollow Ridge Lane property. I don't name Ty. I just point to the red-flagged permit and explain what it means. A woman asks if she should be worried about new builds in the neighborhood. I tell her to always verify permits before closing. I hand her a pamphlet. By noon, 30 people have stopped by. Some take photos of the poster. One man asks for Ty's contact info to avoid him. I don't give it. I just smile and say the information is all public record. Then Ty shows up. He's across the green, standing near the gazebo. He's on his phone, staring at me. I don't look away. He starts walking over. I stay seated. He stops at the edge of my table. What the hell is this? Community outreach. That's my business up there. No names on the board, just permits. His jaw clenches. You're trying to sabotage me. I'm sharing public information. He leans forward. I will call the cops. Go ahead. A few people are watching now. Phone's out. He realizes it. His face tightens. Then he turns and walks off. I pack up at 2. On the drive home, my phone rings. Lena. I answer. What did you do? She says. I don't know what you're talking about. Ty just called me. He said you're spreading lies about his business. I haven't said a word about him. I shared public records. That's it. Nate, stop. Stop what? This. Whatever you think you're doing. I'm protecting my interests. By humiliating him. He humiliated himself. I just pointed it out. She hangs up. I smile. At home, I check the HOA app. Someone posted a photo from the fair. My table is in the background. The caption says, Good to know we have people looking out for code issues in the neighborhood. 3 people have already commented, tagging the property on Hollow Ridge Lane. I refresh the page. 4 comments now. That night, I check Ty's business page. The open house tomorrow has been postponed. No reason given. I text my brother. How's Evan? Good. Watching a movie. Thanks. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Sunday I drive to the gym. It's closed, but I know Lena's there. She always does paperwork on Sundays. I park and wait. At noon she comes out with Sasha. They stand by Lena's car, talking. Sasha hands her something. An envelope. Lena opens it, pulls out a key fob. They talk for another minute, then Sasha leaves. I wait until Lena goes back inside. Then I walk over to Sasha's car. She's sitting in the driver's seat, scrolling her phone. I tap the window. She jumps, rolls it down. You're Sasha, right? I say. Who are you? Nate, Lena's husband. Her face goes pale. I just want to talk, I say. 5 minutes. There's a diner across the street. I don't think... Please. She hesitates. Then she nods. We sit in a booth by the window. She orders coffee. I order water. I'm not here to make trouble for you, I say. I just need to understand what's happening. I can't talk about this. Can't or won't? She looks at me. Then she sighs. What do you want to know? How long has she been planning to leave? I don't know. You were in the group chat. You knew about the moving truck. Her jaw tightens. She said you two had an agreement. We didn't. She looks down at her coffee. Look, I don't want to get in the middle of this. You're already in the middle. You gave her a key fob today, to the gym's back door, right? She doesn't answer. I lean forward. Sasha, I'm not angry at you, but I need to know what I'm dealing with. She's quiet for a long time. Then she says, Lena's moving into a new place, a condo on the east side. Ty co-signed the lease. When? 2 weeks ago. But she hasn't moved in yet. No, she's waiting. For what? For things to settle, with you. I nod. And Ty, what's his situation? I don't know much. He's flipping houses. Money's tight right now. He's trying to close a sale before the end of the month. Hollow Ridge Lane, she nods. Thanks, I say. I get up. She grabs my wrist. Don't hurt her, she says. I won't. I leave cash on the table and walk out. Back home, I sit in the garage and plan the next move. The condo lease is leverage. So is the lake house. But I need something immediate. Something that stings. I check Ty's business page. The open house is rescheduled for next Saturday. I mark it on my calendar. Then I drive to Hollow Ridge Lane. The house is quiet. No workers, no trucks. I park down the street and watch. An hour later, Ty's silver coupe pulls up. He gets out, unlocks the front door, and goes inside. I wait 5 minutes. Then I walk up to the car. I pull the valve stem tool from my pocket and crouch by the rear tire. I unscrew the valve cap, press the tool, and let the air hiss out. Not slashed, just deflated. Legal. I do the same to the front tire on the driver's side. Then I drop the valve caps into the storm drain at the curb. I'm back in my truck when Ty comes out. He's on his phone, annoyed. He hangs up, crouches by the tire, swears. He tries to inflate it with a portable pump from his trunk. But without the caps, the air leaks faster than he can fill it. He gives up and calls someone. I drive home. That night, Lena texts me. Ty's car got vandalized. I don't respond. She texts again. I know it was you, I reply. I was home all day, check the doorbell cam. She doesn't text back. Monday morning, I check the code enforcement site. The inspector visited Hollow Ridge Lane over the weekend. The report is uploaded. 3 new violations noted. The sale is delayed pending resolution. I screenshot it and send it to myself. Then I go to work. Tuesday afternoon, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. The screen buzzes on the workbench, where I've spread out printouts and notes. Its vibration turning to a slow, insistent rattle against the metal edge. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something in me wants to pick up, wants the line drawn cleanly, wants the voice on the other end to stop being a shadow. I answer. Hello? Nate. It's Ty. He says my name like he already owns it. Yeah. We need to talk. About? I move the phone to my other ear and stare at the map of the neighborhood I've sketched. Streets like veins, houses like organs, in a system that's supposed to keep a community alive. About you backing off. I'm not doing anything. Bullshit. The word lands heavy, practiced. The fare, the tires, the inspector. I let a breath out through my nose. The fare was public information. The tires deflated on their own, and I didn't call any inspector. You're lying. Prove it. There's a stretch of air, then the faint sound of him moving, car interior sounds, the tick of a turn signal, bass underneath from whatever music he listens to when he needs to feel bigger than he is. You don't want to do this, he says finally. Do what? Push me. I'm not pushing anyone, I say. I'm just living my life. Stay away from Lena. She's my wife. Not for long. I hang up. My finger is steady on the red button. The silence returns, sudden and thick. The hum of the garage light, the ticking of the water heater cooling in the corner, my own breath. I set the phone down and look at the board again. Trinkets of truth pinned in place with color-coded tabs. Paper can be a weapon if you use it right. That night, after Evan finishes his homework and I've stood outside his door long enough to hear his breathing even out, I drive to the east side. The condo complex Sasha mentioned sits near the river, a rectangle of new money pretending to be old brick. The entry is gated, a keypad on a steel post with a glossy brochure box beneath it. The kind of place where the landscaping crews come twice a week and the trash bins have to be rolled to the alley at exactly the right angle. The river is a dull slate band beyond the buildings, moving like a thought you can't shake. At 8 p.m., Lena's car turns the corner. My stomach tilts, then rights itself. She pulls up, rolls down her window, punches in the code. The gate clicks, slides back smooth, slow. She drives through. In the glow of her dashboard, I see her face for a second, lit blue, set hard. I roll the window down just enough to hear the motor, to hear the soft clank of the gate as it sets back into its track. I write down the code the way a maintenance log gets written, precise, without commentary. An hour later, Ty's coupe glides up. He uses the same code, casual, one hand on the wheel when he punches the numbers, like he does this a lot. He parks next to her, a practiced proximity. The two of them disappear into a stairwell painted the color of eggshells. I sit there and feel the seconds move across my skin. Wednesday, after work, after showing up to show my face, to keep the routine intact, tightening a coupling, replacing a faulty level sensor, answering a supervisor's question with the easy competence that doesn't require hope. I pick up Evan from my brother's place. He runs down the front steps with his backpack thumping against his shoulders. He's taller than he was in my mind 2 days ago. Kids do that, grow in leaps you only notice when you're not looking. He gets in the truck, buckles up without being asked, looks straight ahead. "Is Mom back yet?" he asks. "No," I say, "but she will be soon." The words feel like coins I don't have enough of. He looks at me out of the corner of his eye. He doesn't believe me. I can see it. The way his mouth pulls in, the way he doesn't ask the next question he's thinking. I turn on the radio to a station that doesn't offend either of us, drive home through a corridor of trees that have started to brown at the edges, that slow slide toward fall. At home, I make him dinner. Nothing fancy, spaghetti with a jar of sauce and a handful of frozen peas thrown in because vegetables are non-negotiable. We eat in silence. It's not hostile, just hollow. He puts his plate in the sink afterward without being asked, a habit Lena taught him when he was small that now feels like a message from another life. After he goes to bed, I sit in the garage with the door half open, letting the cool air slide in low. The evidence I've collected lies arranged like a fortification I can hide behind, a timeline charted with dates and screenshots, the drone audio transcribed in my block letters, the cadence of their voices captured without the sound, the furniture charge circled in red, the lake house staging permit stapled to the guestbook photo. It's enough to ruin her in mediation, enough to tie Ty up in public questions he doesn't want. But mediation takes time, and time is a field where people like Ty set up tents and throw barbecues. They smile and invite you to sit, to wait, to watch the smoke curl. Meanwhile, the house sells, and bank accounts shift like sand. I don't want time. I want this over. I check Ty's open house listing again on my phone, still scheduled for Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. I RSVP under a fake name that sounds like a guy who wears a fleece vest and says, "The market," like it's a deity. I add a fake phone number, a fake email. Thursday morning, I drive past the Hollow Ridge Lane property on my way to pick up supplies for the plant. I pull over like I'm answering a text, get out, and walk up the sidewalk. There's a lockbox on the front door, sleek, matte black. Realtor access, a small screen, a tiny camera. I take a photo of it, noting the brand and model, then a wider shot that catches the entry light, The hinge scuffs, the way the door sits a fraction of an inch out of plumb. I walk the perimeter on the sidewalk like any neighbor might, eyes casual, steps slow. The backyard is fenced except where it meets a drainage easement, open to the creek, where the ground slopes and the fence ends in a tidy vertical cut. The back door's new, but the latch is cheap, the kind you buy in a 10-pack. I don't touch it. I just note it the way I note a hairline crack in a pressure line. Small now, but under strain, it wants to be something else. I leave without lingering, drive to the supply warehouse, sign for pipe fittings and 3 gallons of odor control. The guy at the counter calls me by name and asks about my kid's baseball team because he's trying to be kind and has no idea I can barely remember what season we're in. I answer like it's normal, because I need it to be normal a little bit longer. That night, I get a call from Lena's lawyer. A woman named Pritchard, voice warm like a blanket over barbed wire. She confirms who I am, then asks if I've retained counsel. I tell her I'm working on it. We both pretend this is a courtesy call and not the first move in a slow, expensive dance. We should schedule a preliminary meeting to discuss custody and asset division, she says. It's always best to get a framework in place early. I agree, I say, because even truth can be used to slow you down. We compare calendars. Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. I write it in the notebook I keep in the garage, the one that's become a ledger of betrayals and practicalities. When I hang up, I text Lena. Your lawyer called. She replies immediately. Good. Let's get this done. The temptation to type something sharp is there, like the itch you get when a cut is healing. I don't scratch it. I put the phone face down and let the room be quiet. Friday, I take a personal day. I drive to the county courthouse with a folder under my arm and a plan rehearsed. The clerk is a man in his 50s, with a tie too short for his shirt, but his eyes are kind. I hand him the motion to freeze the joint account pending mediation. He reads without judgment, just a functionary in a system that works when it's fed the right forms. $200, he says. I pay with a card. He stamps the motion and slides me a receipt. It'll be processed within 48 hours. Thank you, I say. He nods and moves to the next person. I step aside, feel the slip of paper in my hand, like the first thick layer of ice on a lake, thin but real. On the way back, I angle west instead of east, back toward the lake house. The road looks different now that I've seen it staged and then stripped, like a face without makeup. The door is still unlocked. Inside, the furniture is gone. No more throw pillows, no fake fruit. The surfaces are wiped clean, almost sterile. The absence is loud. The guest book is back on the shelf, open to a page without entries, as if someone tried to erase words with space. Outside, the shed door hangs open. I step in and stand still for a moment, letting my eyes adjust to the dim. A smell like damp rope and old wood rises around me. My dad's tackle box is there, under a blue tarp, tucked behind a half stack of paint buckets. The initials on the lid are dull beneath a patina of dust. R.W. I pull it out, run my thumb over the grooves, and the smell of the lake and cigarettes and coffee comes back so fast it knocks something loose in my chest. Next to it is the driftwood lamp, the one he wired himself with a shade made from a map of the lake. The map is torn at the corner now, but the line of the shoreline is still there, familiar as a palm crease. I load both into the truck, wrapping the lamp in an old blanket from behind the seat. I don't care what else they staged or stripped. These are coming home. On the way back, I stop at the hardware store again. The same guy at the counter is there. He doesn't remember me from earlier in the week. That's fine. I buy a Bluetooth speaker with rubber edges, the kind you could drop in a puddle, and it would keep playing. A small projector that fits in my hand, and a roll of adhesive mirror sheets meant for craft projects and kids' rooms. To anyone else, it's a weird pile of purchases. To me, it's a portable set. A way to control a room without touching anyone. I pay cash again. He puts the items in a plain brown bag that would look right at home in a different kind of store. Back home, I set everything up in the garage. The fluorescent light casts a hum over the concrete. I plug in the projector, aim it at the wall. The image blooms, white square on grey paint. I load a test clip, clouds moving fast, rain seen through a window. The garage becomes a wet night. I connect the speaker. The sound of rain fills the space, then thunder, then a low wind that tugs at your nerves. I cycle through a list until I find the tones that vibrate just under hearing, the ones that make your brain keep looking for a source. Not loud, not aggressive, a suggestion, a mood. Then I shut it all off. I dismantle it with the same care you give a pump you'll put back together at 3 a.m, each cord coiled, each piece wrapped, packed into a duffel bag that once held boxing gloves and hand wraps and the smell of liniment. My phone lights up on the bench. A text from Lena. I'm coming by tomorrow to get the rest of my things. I reply, okay. There's nothing else to say that wouldn't open a door to a room we're done sharing. She shows up Saturday morning with Ty. They pull up in his coupe, the kind of car that looks like it's always about to be photographed. The sky is bright and hard. I'm on the porch with a coffee in my hand, the steam blowing sideways in a slight breeze. I'll wait in the car, Ty says, like he's doing me a favor by staying on his side of an invisible line. Lena glares at him. No, come inside. They walk up together, side by side, but not touching. I step aside and let them pass. Ty's cologne catches in my nose. Something expensive, citrus under alcohol. I don't move to block him. I don't have to. This is my house. The walls know it. Upstairs, Lena goes straight to the closet, a movement she's made 1,000 times in this space. She starts pulling clothes off hangers with a rhythm that says she practiced this in her head, that she knows where everything is without looking. Ty stands in the doorway, arms crossed, stakes himself there like a security guard at a museum. I lean against the hallway wall and watch. This is harassment, he says, tone calibrated to carry. It drops heavier in the small space than he expects. I'm standing in my house, I say, and I keep my voice low, not because I'm trying to be the better man, but because I don't have to raise it to be heard. You know what I mean? He shifts his weight, looks for a position where he's taller. I don't respond. In the bedroom, Lena folds a sweater with precision, places it in a bag. For a moment, her fingers pause, thumb worrying a stray thread that doesn't exist. Then she keeps going. She comes out with 2 garbage bags filled with clothes. She hands them to Ty without looking at him. He grips them, the plastic stretching, and carries them downstairs. His shoes sound too loud on the steps. She goes back in and comes out again, adding more to the pile. Shoes, a stack of folded leggings, a jewelry box that used to sit on the dresser, but now looks small in her hand. When they're done, when the closet looks like a mouth missing half its teeth, I walk them to the door. The house feels unbalanced, like the weight shifted. Good luck with the open house, I say as Ty lifts the last bag. He stops, one hand on the doorknob. What? Tomorrow, 1 to 4, Hollow Ridge Lane. I take a sip of coffee I don't want, the bitterness landing on my tongue like a punctuation mark. His face tightens, the lines around his mouth drawing in. Stay away. It's a public open house. I'm allowed to attend. Lena grabs his arm. Let's go, she says, sharp enough that she could cut herself on it. They leave. The car starts, backs out. She doesn't look back. He does once, a quick flick of his eyes toward the porch like he's checking for a sign he missed. There isn't one. Inside, the upstairs bedroom is a draft of what it used to be. Empty hangers clack softly when the air conditioner kicks on. The bathroom counter is bare. No hair ties, no makeup bag, no strawberry-scented shampoo bottle with a cracked lid. Even the water glass near the sink is gone. It's like she was never here. It's a lie, of course. Her absence is as loud as her presence ever was. The indent in the carpet where her dresser stood. The faded square on the wall where a picture used to hang. These are the shadows things leave when they move. I sit on the edge of the bed and breathe. The mattress feels different under my weight alone. In the mirror, my face is washed out by the light. The person looking back at me seems older than he was last month, like someone turned up the contrast. I stand, strip the bed, stuff the sheets into a laundry basket because I need one thing in this house to be clean. Then I go downstairs. The duffel bag waits by the door, the zipper closed, straps looped neatly on top like a mouth sealed against what it could say. I pick it up and carry it to the truck. The weight is solid, familiar. Plans can weigh as much as guilt if you pack them right. I set the bag on the passenger seat, buckle it in without thinking. Old habits. Protect what you're transporting. Don't let it rattle. Before I start the engine, I look at the house, the place where Evan learned to ride a bike in the driveway, where we painted the kitchen twice because the first yellow was too cheerful for mornings after night shifts, where the hallway still has faint pencil marks from his height measured on birthdays. Houses remember. They don't forgive, but they remember. I put the key in the ignition and turn it. The engine catches. The dash lights up. The radio comes alive in the middle of a song. I don't know, a voice climbing towards something like hope. I turn it down. There's a list in my head, the kind you hold when your hands are busy. Saturday, open house. Sunday, nothing. Tuesday, lawyer. Between them, a space where something will happen. Not violence, not spectacle. Just an adjustment to the system. A way to shift pressure until the weak points declare themselves. I've worked long enough in rooms where water finds any path it can to know. You don't fight the whole system at once. You change a valve. You alter a flow. You make the downstream honest. In the garage, the poster board still leans against the pegboard wall with its maps and measurements. The columns of addresses and dates look back at me like rows of teeth. I pull a marker from the shelf and add one last line. Today's date, a simple note next to it. Removed personal items from Lake House, house staged, then stripped. Facts, not feeling. Feeling is for when this is finished. I shut off the garage light. The dark comes quick, then settles like a hand on your shoulder. I stand in it long enough for my eyes to draw in the shapes again. The ladder's outline, the angular silhouette of the mower handle, the glint of a wrench head where I didn't put it back exactly right. Then I open the side door and step into air that tastes like rain, though the sky is still clear. The day's heat is bleeding out of the concrete. Somewhere down the block, a dog barks once, twice, then decides whatever it heard isn't worth mentioning again. I lock the door behind me and walk to the truck. When I climb in, the duffel shifts slightly, settling. I rest my hand on it for a second. Not a promise, not a threat. Just a reminder to myself that I am not helpless, that precision is a kind of mercy when the alternative is chaos. I start the truck and pull away from the curb, the tires whispering over asphalt that knows every car in this neighborhood by weight and wear. I drive without turning the radio back up. The absence of sound is a map I can read. Every mile is a notch on the handle of a tool I've been shaping without naming. Somewhere, the river moves under bridges, regardless of what names we give to buildings on its banks. Somewhere, my father's tackle box rides in the back, and for a weird, sharp second, I imagine him in the passenger seat, elbow on the open window, cigarette smoke trailing like a thought he doesn't say aloud. He was not an easy man, but he was a plain one. He believed in the truth of work. What you put your hands on tells you what you are. The road ahead is simple. That doesn't mean it's easy. It means there are no more exits I want to take. Tomorrow, I'll walk into a house that isn't mine, with a name that isn't mine, and the weight of my own life balanced in a bag at my side. I'll look around like any potential buyer, and I'll listen the way I learned to in a ring. Eyes open, chin tucked, feet light, waiting for the punch that tells you where to throw yours. And when it's time, I'll make sure the room sounds like rain. The parking garage is nearly empty on a Monday night. I park on the 3rd floor and walk up the ramp. Ty's coupe is on the 4th level, backed into a corner spot. He's leaning against the driver's door, arms crossed. I stop a few feet away. Okay, I say. Talk. I want you to stop. Stop what? The posts, the reports, the inspector, all of it. I haven't done anything illegal. You're sabotaging my business. Your business is sabotaging itself. I'm just pointing it out. He pushes off the car. You think this is funny? No, I think it's fair. He steps closer. I don't move. You need to let this go, he says. Or what? Or I make this harder for you. I almost laugh. How? You're already sleeping with my wife. You're already helping her move out. You already tried to sell my property. What's left? His face tightens. Lena's filing for sole custody. She already dropped it. No, she's refiling. With a new lawyer. Based on what? Based on you being unstable. I stare at him. You're bluffing. Am I? I take a breath. Stay calm. If she does that, I'll bury her in court. The timeline, the lake house, the financial records, all of it. She'll lose. Maybe, but it'll take months. And in the meantime, Evan's in the middle. I feel my hands curl into fists. I relax them. Walk away, I say again. This is your last chance. Or what? I step forward, close now, eye to eye. Or I make sure everyone in this town knows exactly who you are. He shoves me. I don't shove back. I just stand there. He shoves me again, harder. You think you're tough? I think you're scared. He swings. I slip it. Boxer's instinct. His fist passes my ear. I don't hit him back. I just step aside and let him stumble into the concrete pillar. He catches himself, turns, swings again. I duck, move left, make him chase. He's wild, off balance. I stay light on my feet. He rushes me. I sidestep, grab his wrist, twist, and push him toward the car. He slams into the door panel. I don't let go. I lean in. Stop, I say. He yanks free, breathing hard. He's done. If you file for sole custody, I say, I'll show the judge everything. The affair, the financial lies, the property fraud. She'll lose Evan and you'll lose her. Do you understand? He doesn't answer. Good, I say. I walk back to the ramp. Behind me, I hear his car door slam. The engine starts. He drives past me, fast, tires squealing on the turns. I stand there for a minute, just breathing. Then I get in my truck and go home. The next morning, I get a call from Pritchard. My client is willing to settle, she says. On what terms? Joint custody. House stays in your name until Evan is 18. She keeps her retirement account, you keep yours. Lake House is classified as separate property. She withdraws her claim. And Ty? That's not part of the settlement. What about the furniture charge? She'll reimburse you. I think about it. Send me the paperwork. I will, this week. She hangs up. I sit there for a long time. It's not perfect, but it's done. Almost. That night I drive to the condo complex. I punch in the gate code. It still works. I park near Lena's car. The lights are on in a second-floor unit. I can see shadows moving behind the curtains. I take out my phone and text her. I'm outside. The shadows stop. A minute later, she comes out onto the balcony. She sees my truck. Her face hardens. She comes downstairs. What do you want? She says. To see where you're living. You can't be here. It's a public street. She crosses her arms. Nate, what is this? I just want you to understand something. Understand what? That you didn't win. You didn't get away with it, and you're not going to. I'm not doing this. She turns to go. The lake house, I say. She stops. You tried to sell it. You staged it. You planned to split the money. And you thought I wouldn't notice. That's theft, Lena. You know that, right? She turns back. It's marital property. No, it's not. And you knew that. You just hoped I didn't. Her face pales. I could press charges, I say, fraud, conversion. but I won't, because of Evan. But don't ever think you got away clean. You didn't. She stares at me for a long time. Then she says, "Are we done?" "Yeah, we're done." She goes back inside. I sit there for a minute, then I drive home. Wednesday, I pick up Evan from school. He asks if Mum is coming over for dinner. I tell him no, but she'll see him this weekend. He nods. We stop for burgers on the way home. He talks about a science project. I listen. That night, after he's asleep, I sit in the garage and finish the last entry in the notebook. Timeline complete. Evidence catalogued. Settlement pending. Then I close it and put it on the shelf. Thursday morning, I go to work. My supervisor asks if everything's okay. I tell him it is. He doesn't believe me, but he doesn't push. That night, I get a call from Ty. "I'm out," he says. "Out of what?" "This, her, all of it. I'm done." I don't say anything. "She's crazy," he says. "You know that, right?" "She's been planning this for months, maybe longer. I'm just the guy who fell for it." "Yeah," I say. "You are." He hangs up. I sit there in the quiet. Then I delete his number. Friday, the settlement paperwork arrives. I review it. It's what Pritchard said. Joint custody, house in my name, lake house separate, retirement account split. I sign it and send it back. That night, I text Lena. "Papers are signed." She replies, "Good. That's it. No fight, no argument, just done." Saturday morning, I wake up early. I make coffee, sit on the porch and watch the neighborhood wake up. The Millers walk their dog. Someone's mowing a lawn. The sprinkler across the street ticks on. Evan comes out and sits next to me. "Is it over?" he asks. "Yeah," I say. "It's over." He nods. We sit there for a while. Then he asks if we can go to the lake house this weekend. "Sure," I say. "Let's pack." We spend the day there. He fishes off the dock. I fix the loose boards. We grill hot dogs for dinner. That night, we sit on the porch and watch the stars. He falls asleep in the truck on the drive home. I carry him inside and put him to bed. Then I go to the garage one last time. I take the notebook off the shelf, flip to the last page, and write one sentence. I won. Then I close it, put it in a box, tape it shut, and I'm done. The next morning, Lena shows up to pick up Evan for the day. She doesn't come inside, just honks. He runs out with his backpack. I watch from the window. She doesn't look at the house. She doesn't look at me. She just drives away. That afternoon, I get a text from my brother. "You good?" I reply. "Yeah, I'm good." And I am. Because the underdog learned to bite back, and sometimes that's enough.